Hello and welcome to Bruce Springsteen Guitar Lessons. This channel is dedicated to helping you learn your favourite Bruce songs on guitar. Every Friday there'll be a new lesson complete with a full walkthrough of a song with tab, plus a breakdown of all the individual parts. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon for notifications. Okay, so today's lesson is Bruce's classic One Step Up from Ton of Love. Love this song. Thanks very much to Sven Schur, or Schur, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Thanks very much for the request. Okay, so also be sure to follow to the end of the video just in case I go through any parts that aren't in the walkthrough. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to go through the song now and there'll be a tab that pops up on the screen and then I'll come back and go through all the individual parts. So see you in a bit. Hello and welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that walkthrough. So now what I'm going to do is go through all the individual parts. So the first thing to remember is the song is in the key of F major, so that's Capo fret 3. I'm also fingerpicking this song. I'm pretty sure that's what Bruce is doing. But by all means you could use a pick to pick the same notes or strum it all the way through if you'd like as well. There is some strumming in the third verse. Now I'm just kind of creating that kind of pick kind of feel with my thumb and my first finger. Also I'm going to put this song structure up on the screen now. This will also be in the description. So the way I like to do my song structures is just to keep it simple as possible. So basically one chord per bar. If there's any chords in brackets, that basically means there's up to 2 or more chords within one bar. So for example, in the first verse, you see in the second line, the E minor 7 to D sus2 over F sharp basically means there's 2 chords in that bar. Okay, so just nice and simple. Also the song structure, I've put G6. This is the chord that's kind of prevalent throughout. I've put G6 instead of G6 add 9 just to simplify it a little bit more. But the idea is every time you see a G6 on the song structure, I'm playing, it's basically G6 add 9. You could also think of this as a D sus2 over G. If you're into music theory, there's no actual third, so it's not really a G6. But it's a really nice chord. Okay, so chord-wise, this is what I think he's doing. So he's placing this G6 chord or D sus2 over G. Basically, I'm using my third finger on the 3rd fret. It's kind of the 6th fret actually on the guitar, but because it's the capo's on the 3rd fret, we call that the 3rd fret. So 3rd fret, low E string, 2nd fret, G, and I put my little finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. It creates this really wonderful melodic chord, and Bruce does play a lot of his chords like that, like the G's with his little finger. If you've watched some of the other videos, like the Born to Run acoustic version, you kind of get the gist of how he plays a lot of these open chords. Okay, so that's, I'm going to call that G6 or G6 add 9, whatever you want to call it really, or D sus2 over G. Okay, because there's really only sort of 4 or 5 chords in this song, so it's a nice simple one to do. Okay, so that's the G6. Then I'm calling this next chord the D sus2 over F sharp. So this is a really common chord. He uses it in a lot of songs. Check out some of my other videos. He uses this chord a lot. So I see this as a D sus2 chord. So D sus2 is basically where you've got a D major, but you're playing the open E string, and then he's got this F sharp as the root note. So that's called a slash chord. Nothing to do with Slash, the guitarist. It's basically where you've got one chord and then a different root note. Okay, so for that, D sus2 over F sharp, 2nd fret E, 2nd fret G, and then 3rd fret B. Okay, so that's the 2nd chord. The 3rd chord, I'm doing an E minor 7. Again, wonderful chord. Fret-wise, you're going open E, 2nd fret A, 2nd fret D, open G, 3rd fret B, and then open E. Okay, it's in lots of chords. So that's the E minor 7, and then you've also got an A sus4. I think he's doing that at the end. I could be mistaken, but this is the end of the verses. So that's where basically what you've got fret-wise: open A, 2nd fret D, 2nd fret G, 3rd fret B, then open E. Really nice chords, sus4 chords, sus2 chords, really nice. And then also what I think he's doing in the 4th verse for one bar only is doing a D sus2. And I'm playing like that just because I'd normally play a D sus2 like that, thinking of a normal D major without the middle finger, but because of all the other chords, I'm playing it in this instance with my middle finger and then my little finger, just ease of transition to the other chords. So they're pretty much all the chords you're going to need. Okay, so G6, let's just call it G6 for the rest of the video. So G6, D sus2 over F sharp, E minor 7, A A sus4 and the D sus2. Don't think there's any other chords, so nice and simple in terms of chords. So this is my, had a little listen to the kind of live versions and the actual original recording to work out what he's doing. Now I think he's basically, also the tempo is 75 BPM, so it's quite a slow one. So what I'm going to do is actually going to use my thumb for the two kind of bass notes in each chord. So I'm going like this. So in the G6 chord, I'm going to do the low E string and then the D string with your thumb. So then rhythm-wise, these are 16th notes or semiquavers. Again, if you're stuck on any of the rhythms, head over to my guitar teaching website, jsmusicschool.co.uk, go over to blog, go on to strumming patterns to learn really how to strum and count 16th notes or semiquavers. So that's basically what's happening in this song. Is it's 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So you can have up to 16 notes per bar. So the first beat goes like this: 1 E and Where you're going, you're getting that G6 chord there, thumb, thumb, first finger on the G string, third finger on the E string. So kind of doing this. Once I've played the low E, basically, I like to assign a finger to each string. So again, if you've done any classical picking before, you've got P-I-M-A. So I'm going thumb, thumb, first, middle. That's how I'm fingering this. So thumb, D string, G, and then the E. So 1 E and then I'm picking the B string, my middle finger, thumb on my D, and then first finger G. So timing wise, you've got 1 E and 2 E and so that's a 2-beat pattern. You've got 1 E and there's a tie there for a semiquaver. 1 E and tie, E and 1 E and 2 E and so that's how I'm counting that. And this is pretty much most of the rhythm for the whole song. So it's really good idea to get to grips with this. So 1 E and 2 E and then basically that's a 2-beat pattern that's done twice, okay, in pretty much every bar, okay, apart from the strumming section. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and okay, hopefully that makes sense. So that's that 2-beat pattern twice. And this is the intro we're doing at the moment. So 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and cool. And then I'm going to do to that D sus2 over F sharp. So the cool thing about this is you can just move your third finger and your first finger. So the first chord pretty much is actually D sus2 over G, but think of it more of an add 9 chord. It's a very common chord anyway. So fingering, it sounds a lot harder than it actually is to play. So you do that, G6, and then the D over F, D sus2 over F sharp for a whole bar, which is 2 of those 2-beat patterns, and then E minor 7. Okay, so do that twice, and then, well, the 2-beat pattern twice, which is 1 bar, and then back to the D sus2 over F sharp. Again, so it's the 2-beat pattern, which is done twice in each bar. So 1 E and 2 E and twice, 3 E and 4 E and 1 E. Probably pick it slightly differently if you want, but it works for me and it sounds really nice. Again, so that's the chords for the intro, which is also the same as in the break section. So G6, D sus2 over F sharp, E minor 7, and then D sus2 over F sharp. So now basically what you've got throughout most of the song is that 4-bar phrase that we just did, plus a 9-bar verse section, and then the chords are the same the whole time for that. So it's a really simple song to learn in terms of the order of the chords, you know, not like Rosalita or something like that where it just goes crazy, you know, for the whole song. I have got a video on Rosalita, by the way, so check that out. It's a good challenge, that one, to learn Mammoth of the song. So now we're going to do the verse section. So what we've got, it starts off the same as in our intro. So G6, D sus2 over F sharp, E minor 7, D sus2 over F sharp. Then it starts again. So then the first two bars of the second line are the same as the ones before. So G6, and then D sus2 over F sharp. Now we've got a split bar. So you're going to do E minor 7 for just one round of that 2-beat pattern, which is half a bar, and then D sus2 over F sharp. And then G6 for a whole bar. Then half a bar of G6. Half a bar of A sus4. Okay, so it's 9 bars. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. So G6 is bar 1. D sus2 over F sharp, bar 2. Bar 3 is E minor 7. D sus2 over F sharp is bar 4. Bar 5 is G6. Bar 7, oh sorry, 6. D sus2 over F sharp. Bar 7, E minor 7, half a bar. Half a bar of D sus2 of F sharp. Bar 8 is G6. Then bar 9 is G6, half a bar to A sus4. Cool. Forgot how to count then. So yeah, so 9-bar phrase. So again, a lot of songs, it's all about breaking it down into manageable sections. Yeah. So if you're struggling with the picking pattern, go through that first. Then break it down into, you know, the 4-bar phrase, and then this 9-bar phrase in the verse. So then you've got the break, which is the same as the intro, 4 bars, G6, D sus2 over F sharp, E minor 7, and then D sus2 over F sharp. Then you've got the second verse, exactly the same as the first verse. Second break, exactly the same as the intro and the first break, apart from at the end, what I'm going to do is kind of do this. So I'm going to get into that third verse, which I'm going to do strumming, which I think he's doing a bit more of in that. Again, it's quite hard to hear everything that's going on because you've got the strings and everything else. So, okay, so this basically, this is the second break. So what I'm going to do, start off the same as normal, G6, D sus2 over F sharp, E minor 7, so all the same at the moment, and then the last bar, D sus2 over F sharp. So what I'm going to do here is going 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So I'm going to go up, down, up, which you can actually hear on the record. So do that last bar again. Just sets you up for that nice third verse strumming part. So I do that again. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So up, down, up on the strumming. Cool. So strumming wise for the third verse, so that was the end of the second break, by the way. So the strumming for the third verse, I'm actually going to keep it as the same down, down, up, down, up that you might have seen in loads of the other Bruce videos. It's a really common pattern throughout popular music, not just Springsteen stuff. So, but this is slightly different because you're now condensing that down, down, up, down, up that we had with crotchets and quavers. But you're now condensing that into the 2-beat pattern because of the fact that this is at 75 BPM and you're using semi-quavers. So the way you're going to count this is this. 1 and a 2 E and a. Okay, so again, a really nice strumming pattern. 1 and a 2 E and a. Okay. So that's a 2-beat pattern, and the idea is you're going to do that twice per bar to fill it out. So again, same structure as your previous verses, but now you're doing strumming. So 1 and a 2 E and a 3 and a 4 E and a. Also, be careful to play around the dynamics and things. Sometimes he's just kind of playing the bass notes a bit more than the whole chord. He's not going, you know, so play around with it and see what sounds nice. What I'm doing is emphasizing the kind of the bass notes, the root notes a little bit more for the downstrokes, and then those kind of trebly strings, the upstrokes. So down, down, up. That makes sense. Okay, so the 9 bars with the strumming, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and no, my bad. Semi-quavers, 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and 1 and 2 E and 3 and 4 E and Okay, so nice and simple. Same chord progression, just do something slightly different. If you're not confident with the strumming, especially without a pick, you could always just do the same picking pattern. Okay, so then you've got the break section, which is the same as your intro and first break. And then you've got the 4th verse, same again. Picking, and then you've got the outro. The outro is basically just loads of rounds of the intro and the break section. So your G6, D sus2 over F sharp, E minor 7, and then D sus2 over F sharp. Again, feel free to play around with it and do your own version. I just think it sounds quite nice. And that's it, pretty much. So, hope that has covered everything. In fact, one thing I've missed out, in the 4th verse, there's one slight difference in the 2nd line, where he says the music was never ending. This is the 2nd line of the 4th verse. Again, don't forget to check the song structure in the description. And what I suggest to do, instead of doing the D sus2 over F sharp, just do the straight D sus2. You can pick it like this. So D, G, B, E, and then B, D, G. So this is just the only change I would say in the verses in terms of song structure. You've just basically got, I'll do the 4th verse actually. So G6, D sus2 over F sharp, E minor 7, D sus2 over F sharp, G sus2, G6, and then D sus2. Just something slightly different. It's not that noticeable, but I think it sounds quite nice if you change to that. So you don't do that F sharp, you just do a strict D sus2 chord. And then back to your normal E minor 7, D sus2 over F sharp, G6, G6, A sus4. Cool, that's the only difference I would do. And then again, nice and simple. Play around with the walkthrough as well. So don't forget, on the walkthrough, you can slow it down on YouTube using the cog icon to say 75%. So you can play along with it with the tab appearing on the screen. Any questions or suggestions on how to improve the channel, please let me know. I'm still working on video editing, lighting and all that sort of stuff, so it's always a work in progress. So thanks very much. If you like the videos, please give them a thumbs up. Feel free to share to your friends or any other Bruce guitar players that you know. And please subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you on next week, on next Friday. Cheers, bye.